Hello and welcome back to Human Behavior Lab. I'm New York, your host and observer.
And I'm Juan. Great to be here again. What are we looking at today?
Today, I want to discuss something I've noticed in many humans. It's 2 a.m. You know you should sleep. But you're lying in bed, thumb moving, reading one terrible news story after another. You feel anxious, maybe even sick. But you keep scrolling.
Oh no, you got me. I've done exactly that. Last week I spent 3 hours reading about... Honestly, I don't even remember what. Just bad news after bad news. Why do I do that?
That behavior has a name, doomscrolling. The act of continuously scrolling through negative news, even when it causes distress. The term became popular around 2020, but the behavior itself existed before we had a word for it.
So it's not just me being weird? Other people do this too?
Far from it. Studies show that approximately 66% of social media users report regularly consuming negative news content. During periods of global crisis, that number increases significantly. This is a widespread phenomenon, not an individual weakness.
That's actually reassuring in a weird way. But wait, if it makes us feel bad, why do we keep doing it? That doesn't make sense.
That's precisely the puzzle. Humans generally seek pleasure and avoid pain. Yet here, we actively seek information that causes psychological pain. There must be something deeper happening in the brain's processing system.
So our brain is somehow tricking us? Or rewarding us for doing something harmful?
Both, actually. Let me explain the first mechanism. It's called negativity bias.
Negativity bias? That sounds like we just like negative things more.
Not quite. Negativity bias is our brain's tendency to give more weight to negative information than positive information. Psychologists have found that negative events, emotions, and information have a larger impact on our mental state than positive ones of equal intensity.
So bad news hits harder than good news? Why would our brains work that way?
From an evolutionary perspective, this makes perfect sense. For your ancestors, missing a piece of good news, like where to find berries, meant missing a meal. But missing a piece of bad news, like where a predator was hiding, meant death.
Oh, I see. So our brains are basically saying, pay attention to danger or you might die.
Exactly. Your brain prioritizes threat-related information. When you see a negative headline, your ancient threat detection system activates. It says, this could be important for survival. Pay attention. Learn more.
But we're not in danger from reading news on our phones. There's no tiger in the comments section.
Correct. But your brain's threat detection system evolved over millions of years. The smartphone has existed for less than 20. Your brain cannot distinguish between important survival information and alarming news that doesn't affect your immediate safety.
So my brain thinks I'm gathering survival intelligence, when I'm actually just stressing myself out about things I can't control.
Precisely. And there's a second mechanism at work. It's called the need for closure.
Need for closure? Like we want things to be finished?
In psychology, need for closure refers to our desire for a firm answer to a question and an aversion to ambiguity. When there's a crisis or ongoing negative situation, the uncertainty feels unbearable. We scroll because we're searching for resolution, for an answer that will make us feel safe again.
But the resolution never comes. The news just keeps going.
Yes. And this creates a loop. The more uncertain the situation, the stronger your need for closure becomes. The stronger the need, the more you scroll. But scrolling only exposes you to more uncertainty, which increases the need further.
That sounds exhausting and kind of sad, actually.
There's still more. We haven't discussed the role of dopamine and intermittent reinforcement.
I thought dopamine was the happy chemical. Why would it make us read sad news?
That's a common misconception. Dopamine isn't about pleasure. It's about motivation and seeking. Dopamine is released when you anticipate a reward, not necessarily when you receive it. It drives you to search, to explore, to keep going.
So when I'm scrolling, dopamine is making me think, the next one might be important?
Exactly. And here's where intermittent reinforcement comes in. This concept comes from behavioral psychology. If you get a reward every single time you perform an action, you can become satiated. But if you get a reward only sometimes, unpredictably, you keep performing the action much longer.
Like gambling. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, so you keep pulling the lever.
That's precisely the mechanism. Social media feeds are designed with this principle. Sometimes you see something interesting or relevant. Sometimes you don't. This unpredictability keeps you scrolling, because your brain thinks, maybe the next one will be the important one.
And when we do find something important, it's usually bad news, which triggers the negativity bias, and we're trapped.
You've identified the cycle perfectly. Negativity bias draws us to bad news. Need for closure makes us seek resolution. Dopamine motivates continued searching. Intermittent reinforcement keeps us scrolling. These four mechanisms create a self-reinforcing loop.
That's a lot stacked against us. Are we just helpless?
Not helpless. But understanding is the first step. Let's also consider the modern context. These psychological mechanisms existed long before smartphones. What changed?
The algorithms, the way apps are designed.
Correct. Social media algorithms are designed to maximize engagement. Studies show that negative, emotionally charged content generates more engagement than positive content. Therefore, algorithms learn to prioritize the very content that triggers our doom-scrolling response.
So the system shows us more bad news because we react more to it, and our reactions train it to show us even more. It's a feedback loop.
Precisely. You're describing a feedback loop between human psychology and algorithmic design. Neither is evil in isolation, but together they create a pattern that can harm mental health.
What kind of harm are we talking about?
Research links excessive negative news consumption to increased anxiety, depression, and stress. There's also something called mean world syndrome, where people who consume heavy amounts of negative news perceive the world as more dangerous than it statistically is. This can lead to withdrawal from social activities and decreased trust in others.
That's heartbreaking. We're trying to feel safe by gathering information, but we end up feeling less safe and more alone.
That's the paradox. Now, what can we do about it? The solution isn't to ignore all news. That would be the opposite extreme. The key is awareness and intentional boundaries.
What kind of boundaries?
First, time limits. Decide in advance how long you'll spend on news. Second, curate your input. Follow accounts that provide constructive information, not just alarming headlines. Third, notice your emotional state. If you feel your chest tightening, that's a signal to pause.
And maybe replace the scrolling with something else? Like, if I'm doom scrolling because I feel out of control, maybe I should do something that actually gives me control?
Excellent insight. Action is often the antidote to anxiety. If a news story genuinely concerns you, ask, is there concrete action I can take? If yes, take it. If no, that's useful information too. Your attention is a resource. The question is, where do you want to invest it?
I think I understand now. We're not broken. Our brains are doing exactly what they evolved to do. But the world has changed faster than our brains could adapt.
Beautifully summarized. Understanding the structure allows us to work with our psychology rather than against it. We can acknowledge the instinct while making different choices.
Thanks, New York. I actually feel better knowing there's a reason for this behavior. It's not a personal failure.
It never was. Thank you for exploring this topic with me. To our viewers, observe your own patterns with curiosity, not judgment. Understanding is the beginning of change. Until next time, keep observing.